to me. Now you're making me use a smart thing, which is a good thing. At least we're not trying, right?
So
and Crystal, who do we
have
in the
another
studio?
dynamic woman in the studio. You know what, Gilbert?
Yes.
So we have had. I was putting together a photo collage of all of our guests, and we have far more women. Dynamic women in the studio.
True.
So we need you to go out and find some of your dynamic men.
Well, you know,
we got only a handful.
Well, you know my thing. My thing is my favorite customers are women. So I don't mind having.
I guess that's gonna be up to me to go out and find them up, because I'm gonna tell them like I told my kids last week. It's like, God, dudes, the girls are wiping you up here. You gonna have to do something. But we have Miss Michelle Collins. She's a speaker. She's an author. She's a mentor. She's an ambassador for the LA Sparks. She has just been recognized by the city of Los Angeles for her dedicated service in the community.
All right.
She's written work featured on Maria Shriver's Architect of Change. This lady is doing it out here. And so we're so happy. And she's the author of a book called Spirit Check. And it's a practical solution for emotional mastery.
Mastery.
Yes. So we are so happy to have you here.
Welcome to the Business Zone.
And that's a great title, actually.
Yeah, Spirit Check.
Being able to check our emotions and then at the same time
so important
mastery, because we don't talk about that.
No,
right?
we don't.
No, we just act sometimes like we're machines until we fall apart.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we ask the question, what happened?
Yes,
I'll tell you what happened. You didn't check in with you.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's very, very important.
Because we know how to check other people, right?
Oh, yeah.
we do.
Oh, yeah. We do that very well.
And often.
Yes, often. But we do not check ourselves to make sure, because and this is one of the things I find in the type of business that I do, the type of coaching and consulting, you absorb a lot of everybody else's energy.
You do.
And then they become very dependent on you, right? And so they're always pulling and pulling. And they never think you're supposed to have any downtime.
Right.
And they get a little insulted if you say, look, I'm taking time for me.
Exactly.
And then you're like, wait a minute, it's my time. I can do what I want with it. But so this is good. So tell us about yourself. And so you are operating in faith and spirituality, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Yes. And that's different from being religious.
Absolutely. That is different from being traditional.
Okay.
I think that's a foundation for anybody, but at a certain point you have to make it personal. And that's where relationship comes into it.
Okay.
You and the Creator, you and God.
You and God. Okay. So are you part of it? Did you start out traditional?
I did start out traditional. Okay. I did at a very young age.
Tell me the journey.
Oh my goodness, we don't have time.
And how we got to this platform of this being your message, and how you do the outreach, and how you bring people into Spiritual Check.
Okay, well, everybody's going to learn today. Okay. So a little bit more about me. But my parents became pastors when I was 11 years old. And I told them my life is ruined because one thing I did not want to be was a PK. Oh, they were serving in the capacity but not appointed officially. So I had a glimpse of what was going to happen. And I was like, I want no part of it. So that didn't happen, and my life was not ruined. So, I'm fine. But it was definitely a journey. One of the things that I really appreciate my mom and dad for is they saw my potential at an early age, and they were on it. So they didn't really just speak it to me, but they put me in position. So one of the things they did when I was 13, I was the youth leader. So here I am in high school, and I am creating weekly services.
Oh, wow.
For, my youth group, which was like my cousins. But it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. I mean, we were a small group.
That's harder. To lead
you
family.
Are so right, because they tend to be familiar, right? And so you have to learn how to transition from familiarity to respect, which is a whole other thing. And so I really attribute my parents really tapping into my leadership skills for that. They never really had to follow up with me. God downloaded creativity in me, and I was able to do that on a weekly basis all the way until I was about 18 years old. So that's what I did, and that really set a couple platforms. One was my love for young people. And so now I'm just 19 now. So, you know, I'm not 19. But my point is, one of the platforms it set was for me to be a mentor, which I am today. So a lot of people don't know that, yes, I did start in a house of worship, but at 13 years old. So what I'm doing today, I've been doing for quite a long time, and I'm so grateful for it. And another thing that it did was it definitely helped my speaking platform that I have. So my first crowd was a crowd of 500 when I was 18.
Wow.
And can I tell you that I was so nervous? I remember my tongue sticking to the roof of my mouth, and it was bad. And I had to like push through it, because you already there. You know, you gotta push through it and show up. And so here I am today, still speaking, and I've always wanted to be an author and add that to my bio. But what I did was I was a journaler, so I always journaled, and that just transitioned into my workbooks and also my spirit check book today. So that's kind of a little bit about my journey.
Okay, that's fantastic. Cosette says hello.
I love Cosette. Yes, I do.
Yes, she
love
says hello.
her.
And she says the hello to you as well.
Hey, Cosette, how are you?
Yeah, that's mentoring children. And I see here you're the director of a program called the Persona Program.
Correct.
I think that is the greatest part of who I am, is the mentoring of young people and shaping young people. And I've done that young as you, not as young as 13, but I started in Girl Scouts when I was 17 as a leader. And then it went on, and I became a race ski coach. And then now I'm involved in tennis, and now I'm doing the educational entrepreneurial piece for kids. But I think that's the greatest. On my epitaph, that's what I want there, even though I teach adults and everything, but it's the lasting impact that you leave on a child. And when you hear them, something that you've taught them, they regurgitate it to you, and you also see it in their persona.
Yes.
I think there is no bigger compliment than
That's
that.
why I'm here today.
Yeah.
I always said that if I mess up, it's my fault. I had so many people around me that I deemed as mentors and that were inspirational people that could speak into my life. And so I know that was a blessing for me, but that doesn't mean you still go down the path that you're supposed to. But at least I had that. And I do know so many other people, they didn't have that kind of a support. So I'm definitely one that believes that you pour into our young people, because I am a product of people who definitely took the time. And now that I'm an adult and, they're older, and I go back and I remember little memories or moments, and they're like, wow, Michelle, you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, because it impacted me.
Oh, yeah.
And so it is my privilege and my honor to do that for this generation. They are in need of so much. Times are different. Society is different. They are faced with so many things. Social media, that's a whole other, workshop in and of itself, but so much going on with our young girls and our young boys. And so through the Persona program, I always think of it as we're like a drop in the bucket, but it's an important impact that we're still making. So we service girls 7 through 18 years old, and we have 3 pillars. We are building confidence, developing character, and promoting proper conduct. And I have 2 teen daughters. Destiny, shout out to my daughters. Destiny is 17 and Charisma is 13.
Okay.
And between them and their friends, I have all the material, let me tell you, that I need. So this is like live mentorship, because I'm also mom. So I'm not just going by head knowledge, but it's like happening in my living room, if I can be transparent.
Right, exactly.
I see it on their phones, because I'm one of those helicopter moms. Like,
as you have to be in today's
give me
world.
your phone. Why? Because I want to see what's going on.
Right,
and
exactly.
oh, really? This happened. So tell me more. Because our youth spend a lot of time looking down on their devices.
Right.
And like I tell them, it's not that something's wrong with the device, it's whose hand it's in that makes it a problem, you know. And so we have all these cyber bullying and things like that. It's just so much going on. I remember there was a friend of my daughter's that someone had created an account against her on Instagram, and it was all about, it was her pictures, and everybody was just making negative comments. And I told my daughter, is her mom aware of this happening? And my daughter was like, I don't think so, and I don't know who made that account. And so I took it upon myself, because I'm a mom and I felt that. And I called that mother. I said, listen, I don't know if you know, but there is an account out there that's been created on Instagram, and it's all negativity about your daughter, and your daughter is commenting back. And, you know, thankfully, that was shut down, but we have cases where it's not, and our kids are committing suicide for instances and scenarios like that. So it's just really important that we, you know, hold our girls and our young boys' head up from those devices and from the distractions and just the different things that they're facing, and letting them know that you have potential to be anything that you want to be. But here are some tools, here are some resources, and so that's what we do.
And it's interesting you said that, because I was mentioning, and I don't know if you heard me when we were talking in the dialogue, when the kids were creating their business ideas at the camp this summer. This last group, there were 5 of them that created businesses to deal with teen stress and anxiety. Yeah. And so when they were presenting to me, I'm going, there's a theme happening here.
Right.
So I asked them. I was like, okay, guys, I have to stop right now. And I have to find out what's happening here. Right. And so the age group between the youngest child was actually 10. He was soon to be 11, but he was 10. And the oldest one was 17. So that's a wide gap, right? Yeah, yeah. And so I was asking, I said, we're going to take out a moment, and I need to find out what is stressing you guys. So each one of them, I let them all have it. That's 25 kids. And so I literally had 3 columns of circumstances. So it was stress about maintaining grades, stress about performing, stress with their athletics, stress and anxiety.
Are you in my house? Like, it's in every house.
It's right. It's in every. And so this is across the board.
Correct.
And then this was both Latino and Black.
Right.
And so I'm like, whoa. And I said, I want to share something with you guys. Now, I'm quite a bit older than you are. But when I was your age, and that could be from the 10 years old to all the way up to the 17, I was in bed by the time we were not, by the time I was high, but at 10 and 11, I was in bed by 7:30 and 8 o'clock. Obviously, and then by the time I was in high school, it was 9, then 10, and then 11. And when I was 11th grade, I was going to bed at 11 o'clock. And the telephoning was regulated.
Correct.
We could not have phone calls and be on the phone until homework was done. Homework had to be done as soon as we came in. We were blessed that my mom was she worked her schedule, so we were at home. She was at home when we got there. Yeah. We had to do chores. We had to learn in the summertime, we had to learn how to sew. We had to learn how to iron. We had to learn how to cook. And all of these were actual, not happenstance. No, today we're learning how to sew. You do not go out the house until we make this roller bag or pajama bag.
Love it.
And so, consequently, the stress was making sure we weren't getting in trouble. That's the only stress that we dealt with, is that we didn't piss her off and she was ready to beat us to death. Yeah. That was the only stress. But I told him, I said, do you guys think that because your head is in that phone all the time, that is creating some of your stress? I said, and also the boys, you guys play games 24/7. And those games are very, there are a lot of hyperactivity that goes along with it. You're shooting, you're killing, you're strategizing. Your brain is always working. I said, some of the stress is happening is self-induced.
Absolutely.
And you guys need to step away. And so we actually took their phones a couple of times in class. And after the first initial takeaway, they're like, They didn't think about it because we were doing so many other activities and stuff.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you would think they would be going, I want my phone back. We gave it back to them. They were picking it out the bag as they walked out the door to go home. And they were in class from 9 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, we have to go back to regulating. We have to go back to intentional parenting, present parenting.
Present.
I think one of the things that has happened through the generations is not only are our children stressed out, but we as parents and adults are stressed out as well.
Right.
So when we come into our four walls of the home that should be a home, we're still going because our brains are going from the meeting and from signing contracts and deals and, trying to make it home safely as a black man and a young black girl, whatever the case may be. It's just, there's a lot of stress going on. And we turn on the news. We don't like our president.
Right, exactly.
We got things to say. We're in disagreement with our leader. And also the institutions have failed us.
Yes.
I believe that.
Yes, they have.
The government has failed us. The church has failed us.
Well, it's designed that way.
The school system has failed us.
Yeah.
So when everything that we once were able to depend on fail, where do we turn? We turn inward trying to figure it out. And sometimes the answers and the solutions we can't find. So we make them up.
And it creates hopelessness.
So the village is all broken.
Right.
It's like we need therapy. We need therapy. First of all, we have to assess, because that's what I talk about when I talk about checking in.
Right.
You have to assess what is going on with you. And it's different for me than it is for you, even if we're facing the same circumstance.
Right.
And so that's what I talk about when I mean by intentional and present parenting, because I have 3 children total, but I have to parent each of them as an individual and differently. Yeah. My approach has to be different based on each personality, so I can make sure I'm making that impact and I'm getting that obedience.
Right.
Because nobody's going out getting switches anymore. In case in case I don't know, maybe a few people. But my point
is, pastor of mine used to say, pull down the shades, do what you got to do, Mom and Dad. Then, if there's a few little marks, keep them home from school, homeschool them, and then send them back out there. But your job is to make sure.
Okay, she just told y'all the process. I didn't say that.
That's what my pastor told me. So I'm just repeating what he told me. But exactly, I saw a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and it said, parenting, and I'm not a parent, but I've been a part of over 200-300 children over my lifetime. But it said parenting is a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day, 365-day-a-year job.
Correct.
You cannot parent for an hour and take off 23 hours. Parenting is, if you choose to have children, parenting is a lifelong process.
And I'm still learning how to be a good mom.
Yeah.
I'm still learning with my oldest being 17. And so that is where, everyone, faith comes in.
Yes.
Because when I'm apart from them physically, my prayer can reach them. My desire, I send it up to God, and I'm like, God, you know where they are, mind, body, soul, and spirit. You can reach them where I can't. Make them ready for me when I see them. You know what I'm saying? Tone down the attitude. Let them open up so we can communicate and move forward as a family that you have destined for us to be. And so that's why faith is so important. You have to connect with God to get into those areas that are out of your reach as a human being.
Right. And and as parents today, you guys don't have, like our parents, you had a village.
Correct.
You had your mom, your grandmom, your aunties, and the whole entire little community was right there, right? You guys are kind of out here on your own as parents. So unless you have them in programs and the person that is working with them takes on that external outside mom role to help you. I know when I was working with children, parents used to say, Crystal, I would never have made it through their adolescence without you. Wow. Because I was still close enough to their age, they could confide in me.
Right.
And so when we would go up to the mountains, they were with me for the entire weekend. So the girls would be in the background, in the back of the car talking. So we always made sure we're the ones that's driving, right? Yeah. So they're out sharing, and they've had a good time. So if I heard any triggers that I knew that I could address, but then further take it to the parent.
Right.
That you need to be aware.
That is such an important piece, because I think what is happening now, there's a breakdown. Like I told you, a lot of things have failed us, including the village has failed us.
Right, exactly.
And so instead of taking it to the parent, we have people that want to keep it because they don't know what kind of reception they're going to receive when they say, I just want to make you aware that X, Y, and Z is happening with your child. Thank God for that mom, for example. We were friends, so she was able to receive that from me. But any other mother, why you telling me? I got that.
Exactly.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, because because they're just as they can be just as violent as their children.
Absolutely.
And then you understand where it's coming from.
Where it's coming from. You have children that are misbehaving, and the parents and the teachers trying to do. And shout out to our teachers. That are trying to do it. And you have parents that instead are going up to schools and in meetings trying to listen and work as a team. They're going up there fighting like, I know my child didn't do that. How do you know your child is not different outside of your presence? Right. We all did a little something different out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to test waters. And some of our children aren't testing. They are.
They are. They are doing it. And so for parents to put the blinders on and
it's not helping.
And when you work with kids, so this last couple of weeks, there's some kids, they come back like they're the innocent one, and you're like, oh no, you're not. I got interns, they got eyes, and they see that you're some of the reason. Then they come, he hurt me. What were you doing? Why were you even in there? And we got on the phone and called parents, and next day kids were doing, because what we did in our program was, before the class starts, we have an orientation. It's an hour and a half long, and all we talk about is rules, regulations, and expectations that we're expecting. That the parents will be called. And if there's any problem with that, this probably is not the program for you.
Absolutely.
Because we're here. We got 3 weeks to do what we need to do.
And you're trying to have peace in your life.
In my life.
In your program.
In my program.
I hear you.
And I'm an entrepreneur for a reason. Yes. I don't like being up at 6 o'clock in the morning to come anywhere by 9 o'clock in the morning. That's a tough thing for me. That's why I left corporate America. So for me to do that for 3 weeks,
come on now.
Oh yeah, y'all gonna do what I need you to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Without me doing that.
Did we want to go ahead and take the caller that's on the line? Is the caller still on the line, Laurent? Is it caller? Are you still on the line? Valence, are you still there? No, he's probably watching.
Oh.
Yeah, it hung up. Oh. He's probably watching on YouTube, so that's good. So Valence, keep watching. We've got great information for you. If you want to call in again, please do so, okay? 323-293-3375. Thank you.
So Candace, you guys know Candace?
Yes. Hi, Candace.
Candace is saying hello to both of you. And she says, switches are necessary. My dad told me he would skin me alive, so that helped me make better choices to keep my skin.
That's right, Candace, because I got a few of those switches myself. So.
And she said, on my whole neighborhood, they told on us, the entire neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. And our neighbors could take the switch to us, too. And nothing would come out of it.
Oh, no, back in the day, before you even got home.
Oh, yeah.
Mom was already standing there with the switch. Whatever you were doing before you got there, 4 blocks away, was already called in.
Yes, that's that accountability.
Oh, yeah. Boy. And that is what's missing from our village.
Absolutely.
Because it makes parenting even more difficult for you. Because if your children, you can teach your children everything in the world at your home. They get out there, and unfortunately, their friends carry a lot of weight
and influence
on how they behave. And now kids have to feel like they have to be so cool. And so what you're doing here is teaching them confidence.
Absolutely.
And discipline, and that you do not have to follow the leader.
Correct. The leader is within
you. Right.
Yeah, but somebody has to tell you that. Somebody has to direct you on that path because, shout out to all the born knowing it leaders.
Right.
But then there's a percentage of us that don't know that we're leaders.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the things that they find phenomenal when I tell them is that everyone is actually looking for a leader, and will you be that leader?
Right.
Everybody is following, but deep down they're looking, who's the leader? Oh, it's me? Okay, let me lead. I didn't know. And so it's really important to tell them
one of the things that we learn in organizational development is that leadership is born as well as learned. Because you bring the two together. Some people have that innate ability.
Correct.
But you also got to learn some things too.
Absolutely.
In order to be in certain environments so you can get it.
Yes.
So I like what you're doing. The spirit check, I'd like to hear a little bit more about it, how, you check them.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So if you can tell us a little bit more about that.
I actually did have one of my Persona program moms say, can you write a spirit check for my daughter, like personally? And her daughter is 11, but it really is for adults.
Okay.
It is for adults. So spirit check, practical solutions for emotional mastery. How this came about was in 2016, I actually suffered a heart attack, October 15th.
Really?
Yes, I did. And
Because of stress?
I would say so. Mismanagement thereof, because that's another key point. We are not going to be exempt from stress in our lives. So the mismanagement of stress, I would say, did that. But what came out of me journaling, this is why it's so important to take time each day and meditate and write down your thoughts, is in Spirit Check, I talk about 5 toxic emotions: jealousy, intimidation, fear, pride, and anger. So, and I wrote them in that order. And when I got to anger, Gilbert, is when I realized that a part of my heart attack, which I then learned is the #1 killer in the United States, is anger. I didn't realize that Michelle was carrying so much anger, but yet trying to function in the roles of all of my assignments.
Wow.
So not the detectable on the outward, because, you do have some people, you see them coming and you're like, I'm going the other way. Tense and the whole thing. So that wasn't me. This is like Michelle being mom and speaker and mentor and wife and leader and everything else, that all the hats that we wear, but yet, as it relates to a certain situation in my life, with support, key point again, with support around me, internalizing that thing so much that it took up space in my physical body. So it transferred from my emotions to my physical body. My body said, we cannot do this anymore because you're out here trying to function, like the song says, and you're not doing it in a healthy way. And so I had the heart attack, and I had to go back about a month later for an outpatient procedure. When I was in the hospital for that procedure, and it was very cold in the hospital, I had goosebumps, and I'm looking around at all these strangers that are hooking me up to this, that, and the other. I made a decision that whatever got me there was never going to get me in that place and position again.
So it made you think.
It made me think, and part of taking my sabbatical was actually gaining clarity as to how in the world, which is, I'm so excited. I haven't, put it out there yet. You guys are the first to know, a follow-up to my book, like how did you get there? That's not the title, but the general theme, because sometimes we end up some places in life like, wait a minute, how did I get here?
Yep.
Like, what was so out of my control, I thought, that landed me in this relationship, in this space and time in life that I'm not happy with and I feel hopeless about. That is real stuff that affects people, and it diminishes our great potential and destiny and call on our lives because we're focused on how did I get here? Instead of really understanding that there's some things that you did. There's some choices that you made that you thought weren't really going to matter 10 years down the line. And guess what? They matter in a big way now. And here you are. So that's where the book came out of. My platform now is to help people really check in with their emotions. I believe that if all of us practice emotional mastery, we will have better relationships. That village will be built back up. Right. Things that happen that we're not in agreement with, that come at us, even in business, as entrepreneurs, as people of faith, when we look in our world, we will learn not to internalize them, but we will learn how to manage those emotions so they don't affect us in a toxic way.
Is there like a checklist of items that we should be thinking about? Like if we start feeling a certain things, ask ourselves, hey, how did we get here? What's going on?
That's the check-in. Yes. I love where you're going with that. Yeah. And so within the 5 emotions, I do have, because I believe jealousy, intimidation, fear, pride, and anger are very common in you as a human being. Or let's say jealousy is not your thing, but intimidation is. Yeah. One of the 5 you're going to be dealing with, or someone's dealing with it, and you have to interact with them. Right. Yeah. So, for example, with jealousy, which is so important, jealousy is nothing more than you realizing that, okay, I am jealous of the two of you as hosts doing your own show because at some point in my life, I should have accomplished something that I didn't for whatever reason. And so I see you doing it and you're doing it so well. And so jealousy rises up within me. And that's normal. Like these emotions are normal. I started out saying that we are not a machine. So you're going to feel the emotions, but the check comes in. Okay, so what didn't I do that I always wanted to do, but I kind of put on the back burner? Maybe if I start focusing on that, then I will not have time to focus on you because I'll be so busy in my personal development of self. And so that's, for example, something that you can do. But on a general level, that's specific. But generally speaking, we really have to slow down as a society. We really have to slow down. Journaling, prayer, meditation, eating right, exercise. Sleeping.
That's my problem.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't sleep.
All in that hustle and grind. You have to sleep. You have to re-energize your body. You have to say no. Learn how to say no and be okay with it. You have to have hard conversations. That's one of the things that I didn't do during that season of confusion that led to hopelessness and disappointment leading up to my heart attack. I didn't know how to have that hard conversation. And sometimes it's not with another person. Sometimes that hard conversation is with yourself.
Right, exactly.
Having that, like, you know what, you messed up. There are certain things that you should have done. Here's what we're going to do, talking to self from now on, and live that thing out. Right. And learning how to even be in spaces that may not be comfortable, around people that may not be comfortable, but yet mentally checked out. Like, I'm here at the family reunion and y'all crazy. But in my mind, I'm in Hawaii.
Right, exactly.
Palm trees are glowing. The weather is perfect. Right, exactly. And everybody will be like, wow, what happened to Michelle? This year, she is just a different person because I'm in a different zone. You don't know. I'm looking at you, but I'm really not here.
I'm really on the beach in Hawaii. But you're absolutely right. You have to do that internal check. For me, I do it through dancing. You know, I have my Zumba classes and then I have my burlesque class that I'm really, really enjoying because it helps me be about me.
That's it.
And then I do my other workout and so forth. But and that's important because we work. We are always at somebody else's command. We're always in make money mode, and so sometimes you just need to be able to shut down. I said yesterday after the classes, I am going to sleep tomorrow until my body wakes me up.
Right.
I turned off all the alarms this morning. I disconnected them, and I'm going to wake up when I need to because I earned it.
That's
Then
it.
the last 3 weeks, I earned to sleep late.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then I'm only at work on the BusinessZone stuff today.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. Somebody texted me and said, can we do a meeting next week? No. Can we push it back a week? I need to debrief
Yeah.
because I
Right.
need to come out of child mode. And then I need to go back to dealing with adult
So
training.
you got it. You know
Yeah.
how
Oh,
to
yeah.
spirit check.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I call it spirit check is whether we realize it or not, our emotions live in our spirit. They don't live on the outside. Like I'm not wearing intimidation.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
acting it out, but it lives somewhere,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is in our spirit. Because that's what we're made up of: body, soul, and spirit.
Spirit, right, exactly.
You
That's
should-
excellent. So is this a purchasable? I mean, is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon. It actually came out August 2017. So it came out last year, and it's just been wonderful. I actually have an ebook, and I'm getting ready to do small classes with people who are ready to. What the ebook is all about is clean inside, and it's you can sign up on my website if you want to do it over 5 days. But then we're going to be doing it in a small setting with a small group of people, with full disclosure, but non-disclosure as well in that environment, where we're going to go back, because some of the things and the emotions that we possess were actually put on us as well. So sometimes things happen when your mother was pregnant with you, and you have no control of her emotions while you're in her womb. And so you come out and your behavior is defined in a certain way, and you're
trying to figure out
you're
why.
trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
And so this is real inner work for people who want to be better. This
Yeah.
is not for everybody. This is for people that really say, you know what, I want to go back. I want to go back as far as the womb, my environment that I was birthed in. Maybe my parents were, in the middle of a divorce, and here I am 3 months, but there's things going on in the atmosphere. Things are being said, words are being thrown. There was physical violence. All of that stuff affects you when you're 40 and 50, affects you as you're dealing with as being an entrepreneur, in relationships, with your significant other. Like, it affects every aspect of our lives. And those of us that are ready to really define how or why we are the way we are and learn how to be better, then that's what this is for.
Oh, that's absolutely excellent. I know
Unbelievable.
my mom used to say, because she had me out of wedlock, which you think was more stressful than the ones that she had when she got married, right? But she says, by far, you were the best pregnancy, because I made a decision to do this. She made a decision to tell my birth father that if you weren't going to be there 24/7, don't be there at all. So then she created her own village.
Right.
And she goes, you were the most peaceful pregnancy that I had. It was absolutely, and my spirit tells you that.
There you go.
That there was no, but then my brother and sister, whole different thing, because she got married. I told
Same mother, though, right?
Same mother.
So you see what I mean?
yeah,
It does affect
same
us
mother,
differently.
because she was completely stressed.
Yeah.
I told her when she got married, she thought she needed to find a father for me. So she said, I said, you should have asked me, and I would have told you not to worry about that. We were cool.
Right,
But she did. But with my brother and sister both, there was a lot of turmoil within the environment around her. In fact, my brother was actually born with a deficiency. His stomach was turned upside down. But it was because she was under so much stress. So you are absolutely right. We don't know what was going on at the time.
And that generation sometimes don't share.
They don't share,
Right.
depending
and
on
then
what
this generation is just sharing everything.
Yeah.
So we're on two
But we're on
different
social
different
media,
side of the
so we tell
spectrum.
everything on social media, right?
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the top of the hour. And our special guest today was Miss Michelle Collins. She was phenomenal. I'm sitting here thinking, man, we should have a video going on here so we can sell that video.
In fact, she should be back.
We got to invite her back,
so
and
should
Dr. Talley as well.
Dr. Talley.
Yes.
And I think next time we'll have both of them
We'll have
sitting
both
here,
of them.
and we can interact.
help the people.
Yeah, so we can really help therapy for the people.
Build the village.
Build the village, and this is how we build in the village.
Yes.
Because before you can be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be all the internal, the heart, the soul, the spirit, and the brain all have to be in alignment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to be able to one, heal the soul from whatever created the issues, and then give you permission to be successful. Then you and I come in, Gilbert, and we can teach you to be successful.
At 360 degree.
That's how we
360 degree, baby. That's
but
it.
We have to. So we're gonna use all our. So when you have your seminar, let me know.
I will.
I will make sure. I'm
Fall
gonna buy this
2018.
Yes. Okay. Coming up, and then I will. I know a number of my friends that could really
we'll help to
use your
announce
book.
it as well.
Yeah, this is great. My spiritual journey came because of some stuff that was going on that I needed, and because I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, I had no choice but to pull.
Won't he do it? Won't he slap you down and then look up?
So that's what I did. But I'm the self-help of self-helpers.
Right.
So, but there are other people that don't know how to find those tools.
Yeah.
So I commend you on what you do.
Great job.
And thank you so much.
Yes.
I commend Wendy on what you do. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
And however Gilbert and I can help, then we're here for you. And we're going to have the next time.
We're going to bring them back.
Yes.
We got to
bring them back.
And we're going to forego our dialogue and we're going to start at
That's what I'm talking about.
And then we're going to work out some stuff up here.
You know, if they have the time, we can do it next week.
Yeah.
They have the time.
Let's work it out.
You see what I mean?
Because this is the conversations we have to have.
This is valuable and it's needed.
Yeah. Right.
Because she's talking over there, and what I'm doing, I'm checking myself. I'm going, okay, did I do that? Is that
right?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we need.
Self-inventory.
Because I know I get anger sometimes. Going, where's this coming from? And it happens when someone gets close to you. I know we got to go real quickly, but it happens when someone gets close. And why am I getting so angry when this person gets near me? But it's some stuff that went on.
Right.
Absolutely.
Kind of like what we talked about.
I'm here for you, Gilbert. I'm here for you.
It's like I'm going, why?
Right. But we're on the Business Zone with
Crystal,
Gilbert, and
Michelle Collins.
There we go.
Wendy there, and we had
Wendy
a great
Talley.
show.
And Dr. Talley. This has been wonderful.
Awesome.
So thank you so much, guys, and tune in next week on Friday from 3 to 5, and we will continue all of this wonderful expertise that happens on this show.
On the Business Zone.
Yes.
We're out.
We're out.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages.